G'day guys, this is Tyrone and welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Now the new update just dropped, and with it came a slew of new customization options. One of which was the custom worlds, and with that we can create any type of game, any type of world, any type of game mode we want. And in this video I'm going to be showing you exactly what settings I think you need to make your own perfect PvP custom world template. As you can see right here, I've created my own PvP server, Tyr's PvP server, created by Tyr. G'day, welcome to Tyr's PvP server. The custom rules set here are what I envision PvP should be like. Feel free to join and have fun, rip and tear. That's just the description I've given for when I created it. Anyone who is on my friends list can join this whenever they want if they have already been in the world while I was present. And additionally, if those players have Fallout first, that means they can save this custom PvP server to their shared worlds, and that means they can join it whenever they want without me having to be there, having to load it up. It basically works like a Minecraft realm. Anyway, I'm sure you guys know how these custom worlds work by now. If not, just ask me in the comments and I'll answer any questions you may have. Anyway, let's get into the settings that I have set for this custom PvP server for Fallout worlds. Okay, so first up in the workshop. Now, realistically, this is a PvP world. I don't want any camp building or workshop building to be taking place. You shouldn't be placing camps down with like turrets or stuff like that to defend yourself, which some players do. So I've gone ahead and enabled and disabled the following options. Free building is off, camp power is default, free workbench crafting is on because that means we can craft whatever we want for free, including legendary effects if we want to test out some new stuff. So I recommend putting that on, that is really nice. Camp height is default, camp placement is default, camp radius is very low to make the camp very small to disencourage people to actually use camps during PvP. And here for camp budget you can go extremely low or 0. If you put it to 0, they won't be able to build in their camps. If you put it to extremely low, they'll maybe be able to place a few things here and there, like crafting tables or stash boxes if they need it. And finally, relaxed building restrictions is off because I don't want people building workshops in a PvP world. And then for combat. Here we have invincible equipment durability. This is mainly so that our weapons and armor won't break while we're fighting. This is just a quality of life thing that I want to introduce. If we're fighting each other, we just want to have fun with our friends and we want to PvP, have a friendly PvP match, we shouldn't be worrying about repairing our weapons or armor. So chuck that on. And here, this is optional. Personally, I think PvP is way more fun with legendary mod effects turned off. This will mean all of your weapons and all of your armor's legendary effects will not work. Your bullets won't be exploding, so legacies won't be a problem. You won't have to try and balance those fucking things out in PvP. Your legendary armor, like Assassin Sentinel, will be disabled, so you won't be basically invincible. It basically just makes the whole thing a lot more fun and balanced, and which is realistically how PvP should be from the get-go, but Bethesda don't know how to balance PvP, so here we have to do it for them. And then we have proximity enemy spawn. I have this turned off. Basically, you can turn this on or off if you want. All it does is it makes enemies constantly spawn around the player, every single player that is in the server, which can get annoying, especially if your goal is PvP, so I have that turned off. And then here we have VATS and melee AP cost. I've set this to nuclear. This will make all VATS orientated attacks cost 100% more action points to use in VATS. So if you want to shoot someone with a sniper rifle in VATS or a laser rifle or a melee weapon, it'll cost 100% more action points, which is good because in my eyes PvP should be about skill, it should be about free aiming, and since we don't have legacies to worry about thanks to this being turned off, we can turn on nuclear option for the VATS, basically eliminating the need to worry about people VATSing you. You don't need to hop in stealth boys, you can just roam around freely and your friends won't be able to VATS you because it'll cost a lot of AP to do so. So that VATS playstyle is entirely countered and disencouraged. Which personally, like I said, I think that is the way PvP should be. You shouldn't be able to auto-aim people in the face with VATS, especially with weapons as ridiculous as the railway rifle or fixer. But like I said, you can turn this on or off whether you want to VATS people or not. Personally, I don't like it. And then we have difficulty. I have bumped this down to easy just because if enemies do get in our way, we can take them out a lot easier. It's in the name, makes enemies easy to kill, as the goal for this server is PvP. Then we have PvP rules. Now this is the main thing for this entire server. You want to make sure this is set to always, otherwise it'll just be a clusterfuck and it won't work properly. Basically when this is set to always, pacifist mode will be disabled, and PvP will always be turned on. No matter where you are in the wasteland, you will always be marked red and marked aggravated to other players in the server. which means you can attack them on sight, you don't need to initiate PvP or any of that bullshit. And then we have dismemberment. I have this set to frequent. This doesn't affect players to my knowledge, so players will not explode in a bloody mess fashion, but it will make all the other enemies in the game explode like crazy, which is nice to see, so I have that set to frequent. Next up we have ragdoll behavior. I have this set to increased force, just to make enemies float through the air with a little bit extra force when they do die, which is always funny to see. Again, this doesn't really affect players. Then we have infinite ammo. Now I have this set to on, and it's very important that you set it to on instead of on no reload. If it's just set to on, this will mean you won't have to worry about ammo, you won't have to worry about farming or crafting ammo for your PvP battles. You can just shoot your friends and you will run out of ammo. You'll have to reload your weapon clip like normal, but you will never actually run out of ammo. There will be an infinite amount in your back pocket, which you're always reloading into your weapon. It's really nice. And I highly recommend it for this mode if you want to have a fun PvP experience, just so you don't have to worry about collecting ammo or crafting ammo. And again, it's important that you do not use the no reload option, otherwise you won't have to reload and it's just infinite, breaking any sense of balance in the game. It's ridiculous. Then we have damage received. Now, I've set this to default and I've played around with this a little bit with my friends. It does work well with low. This will modify the overall damage that you receive and it will make you take 50% less damage if you put it on low, or you can just set it to default and you will receive the default amount of damage when you get hit. Have a play around with it with your friends and see which one you like better. If you want to have a nice, balanced, and fun PvP experience with your friends, I recommend default just so that people are dying a little bit quicker. Or if you want everyone to be a little bit tanky, then I recommend switching it to low, but never go to very low, otherwise people won't die, and never go too high, otherwise people will die very frequently. You've got to find that sweet spot. And then we have damage dealt. Now I've set this to very high, which gives us 200% extra damage to everything we shoot at, including players. Now this is where the balancing act comes into play. You could set it to this and then set it to low as well in damage received, and it'll balance out and you'll do about 150% extra damage to players instead of 200, or you could just keep it default and do the 200%. It's up to you, you've got to play around with it and see what works for you and your friends. But I have been playing around with all of these options with my mates and I've found that I do need it set to very high. Since our legendary mods are turned off, we don't get bloodied, we don't get anti-armor, and we don't get any of our other bonuses like explosives, so having that nice little default boost to our damage will ensure that basically you are doing a decent amount of damage to all players no matter how heavily armored they are. If they're in power armor or a secret service armor, they're going to be going down fairly easily, which just keeps the whole PvP mode moving along nice and quick. It keeps you on your toes, it means you have to play tactically, and it rewards those players that do have good aim, they do have good reflexes. You'll really have to show that you do have skill in PvP when you have this turned on. But like I said, set it to whatever you want. You can have it just to high with the extra 50%, you can set it to default, whatever you want. Just know that players will be more tanky if you have it to anything below very high. And I don't recommend setting it to nuclear. That will give you 900% extra damage, which is just crazy and it won't work at all. You'll be killing everyone in a single shot. And then we have general. Now, we have the option to drop additional loot on death. I recommend not turning this on because that will mean you'll drop all kinds of stuff, including your aid items and stim packs. If you're just having a friendly PvP fight with your friends, which is what this whole thing is kind of catered for, we don't want to be dropping our aid items or our stim packs. And then we have nuked flora and creatures. Now, you don't have to turn this on, I've simply just turned it on because it makes every single enemy in the game glowing, and it makes all the harvestable items like flowers and moss and shit like that you can pick up on the ground. It makes it glowing, it's a bit nicer to look at, so I've just got that turned on. Again, you don't need it on. Then for weather we have Ash Storm. I've tried a few different things here. I've tried the nuke zone, which was a bit hard to see in, especially for PvP where you need your eyesight. I've looked at a few of these things and I landed on the Ash Storm. I thought this was the best one out of all of them, especially for PvP. It's basically the nuclear winter weather effect where the ash is flying everywhere, except it's not orange, it's not red, it's not fire, it's just all grey and dark. And there is a slight little bit of mist and fog in the distance that does make it a little bit harder to see, but it's like a nice effect that really adds to the mode, I reckon. You can experiment with whatever you want. I recommend Ash Storm for a PvP server. It's a nice little visual effect to go along with murdering your friends. And then we have jump AP cost. I've set this to nuclear, which will make jumping cost 100% more AP. I've basically done this just to disencourage jumping around like a fucking spastic with the marsupial mutation and jetpacking everywhere, because it will drain your AP if you decide to do that like crazy. I think that one of the most stupid fucking things in this whole game with PvP is people jumping around like fucking idiots. Imagine if you were playing Call of Duty and you could jump like fucking 12 feet high in the air. You wouldn't like that, it wouldn't be fun. Which is why I've also done this. I've set the jump height to low, which will make us jump 50% shorter than normal. Which means if you have marsupial, you're basically jumping the height of a normal human without marsupial, and if you don't have marsupial, you're jumping nowhere. So this is really to combat those people that do have marsupial. Because let's face it, everyone is running marsupial, so everyone is going to be jumping high by default. This will bring that down to normal, and will make your PvP experience a little bit better in my opinion. Next up we have Power Armor Drain. This is pretty self-explanatory. I have it set to disabled. This means you will not use up your fusion cores while you're in Power Armor. So if you do choose to PvP whilst in Power Armor, you won't have to worry about all that fusion core nonsense. It's just a nice quality of life thing when you're only here to kill your friends. Next up is the Visual Filter. I've set it to Feral. I've played around with a few of these and I think Feral looks the nicest when in combination with the Ash Storm weather effect. But that's just my preference. I think it makes it a little bit gritty. Obviously, Feral is the name of it. I feel like it really fits the tone for a PvP world. However, feel free to pick whatever the fuck you want. Next up we have fast travel and map locations. I have it set to free and all discovered just so we can fast travel around the entire map for free without having to worry about anything like not having certain locations discovered. You've got them all discovered now and it's free to fast travel there. Makes PvP a lot better in case you want to switch it up and PvP somewhere else other than White Spring Station. And finally we have full damage. I have this set to nuclear to make sure people do not go around jetpacking like spastics. Let's keep the fight to the ground. Let's keep it all grounded, boots on the ground. Let's make it so that if you win a PvP fight, it is because of your skill, not because you hit that perfect spot with the AP glitch, jetpacked up 1,000 meters in the sky, and rained down hell with your legacy laser rifle. That is not the type of PvP experience I want for this server. I want it to be more realistic, more tactical, and less bullshit. So there we have it. Those are all the world settings that I have for my PvP server. Feel free to copy them yourself and have a play around, see what you like, see what you don't like, switch things up depending on what your preferences is, and then go ahead and invite your friends to the server, test your mettle against them, see who is truly the more skilled Fallout 76 PvP player amongst you and your friendship group. I've pretty much been playing around with these server settings all day and I've been testing it with my friends and it's been amazing. It's been working out really well. We could use multiple types of weapons that we wouldn't normally use in PvP, including things like Gauss miniguns, 50 cals, handmaids. No one uses handmaids anymore because of the meta that is legacies. And we weren't jumping around like friggin' idiots. We were just sticking to the ground. We were crouching. We were playing tactical, using cover, getting to the high ground like on the White Spring Station. And everyone was able to be killed fairly easily no matter what they were wearing or what they were using. For the first time in a long time, PvP felt balanced and fun. So if you want to replicate that type of experience with your own friends, I feel like you should follow these settings, or like I said, play around and see what you like yourself. So yeah, this was a different type of video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. This is just a custom Fallout world template that you guys can follow. Let me know if you'd like to see me make a few more of these videos. I can do templates for other types of custom worlds. So yeah, if you guys would like that, let me know. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on this video, drop me a comment, and if you're new here and want to see more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed with post notifications turned on. A huge shout out to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members for making content like this possible. You're all bloody legends. And as always, the links to my social media are in the description, along with the links to my Patreon and channel membership if you want to support me in a much larger way. I've been Tia, and I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome to Valhalla.